DNA and genes are what makes you you. How you think like, how you act like, also how you look like. So, have you ever thought that you are changing, including all kinds of change, physically, emotionally, etc. as you grow up? Let's be more specific. Does our DNA or gene ever changes during our lifetime? I personally never thought that DNA would ever change unless it is affected by anything or I do something to it because it's like my name, which wouldn't change unless I intentionally change it for some reason. And I was wrong. DNA could change somehow for various reasons. But first, let me explain what DNA and genes are for those of you who are not quite sure. DNA is a molecule in a cell made up of nucleotides. Each of nucleotides contains a phosphate group, a sugar group, and the nitrogen bases, which are adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. They are like little puzzles that only fit each other. Adenine and thymine only link to each other, and so are guanine and cytosine. The order of these nitrogen bases is what makes you different from the others. They are in different orders for every single person. Although other parts of DNA might get affected or change, the sequence of these nitrogen bases would never change. Genes made up of DNA are things in your cell that decides your traits. Whether you have straight hair, curly hair, big nose, small nose, short or tall, or whatever features in your body, you inherit all those DNA and genes from your parents. Now that you know what they are, let's go back to our question. Do your DNA or genes ever change? Then it's yes, they might change during your lifetime because of radiation, virus, chemicals, and exercises. I know the exercise part sounds odd, and I will explain more about it to you today. Some scientists and the professors found out that if people exercise, temporary but immediate change happens to the genetic materials in the muscle cells. Scientists and the professors found healthy but inactive people and they collected their muscle cells before and after the workout and compared them. Eventually, there were fewer methyl groups found after the workout. The removal of the methyl groups from your DNA changes the way you break down or store your fats and produce proteins, though they come back after a certain amount of time. Probably now you're wondering what methyl group is. Don't worry about what methyl group is at this point. It's just a thing that attaches to your DNA and affects the genes. This process is called methylation. Let's think like this. Imagine there's a box with a hole on the side, full of blocks. If you exercise, which would be shaking the box in this case, some of the blocks would escape through the hole in the box. However, the box would be refilled with the blocks after a certain amount of time. Are you still confused? That's okay. Let's recall what we learned today. Our question was, does our DNA or genes ever change during our lifetime? And the answer was that DNA and the genes could change for various reasons, such as radiation, virus, or chemicals, but today we talked about temporary changes of the DNA by exercising. We learned about methylation and how it is affected by the exercise. If you got this, you learned a lesson today. This was my short lesson on genetics. Thank you for watching.
Created using Powtoon.